Welcome, Summoners, to Games Cast by PawnGypsy. If you wish to see more commented games, follow my social media pages below. Okay, looks like they have finally finished up Champ Select. And after a few more decisive bans, especially a ban on a Mumu, here's what we have. For the blue team, we see a Sona, Ezreal down bottom, Lux in the mid or top lane, I can't really tell from here. Likely a mid laner, as we do have Cho'Gath up top and a Lee Sin in the jungle. For the red side, we do see a Lulu Ashe down bottom, Xin Zhao in the jungle, Olaf up top, and a Veigar in the middle lane. I'm really liking this team comp from the red side, as they have so much CC. They can throw an Ashe arrow out there to start any of these fights. They have a Veigar cage that can really combo with it. Then they can continually throw axes out from Olaf, slows from Lulu, and another knockup by Xin Zhao. In addition to that, if Veigar lands a really good cage, Xin Zhao could jump in the fight and knock everyone into it. The big thing they're going to have to watch out for is Cho'Gath landing really good ruptures and stopping those combos. In addition to that, Lux and Ezreal both have cleanse, so they can easily jump out of any of these real dangerous situations. And if Lux and Ezreal can poke away at this team, I think they'll have a good chance, but they really have to learn to poke and not lose the lanes early. As we did see in the first game, the top laner for the blue side really got punished, as he wasn't in a good situation. He has to ward a little earlier. And I'm kind of surprised they let Olaf get through again, as Olaf was a real terror in that last game. Olaf just rammed through the entire enemy team, soaking up every point of damage and not having to worry about it. But the good thing was Amumu is not in this game, and Katarina is not in this game. Katarina did a very good job last game of just snowballing off 1 or 2 kills, and Amumu did an outstanding job as a jungler, really finding 1 or 2 kills and snowballing both the top and bottom lane. This game we do get to see Veigar, which is a really unusual pick. We have not seen many Veigars lately, but I do think he works out pretty well, especially because if someone like Lulu or Olaf can land an axe to get the slow in, Veigar can throw down his cage and keep everyone inside. But the difference from last game is the blue team has picked up a Lee Sin, which is more of an early game jungler than Elise. Elise does a pretty good job and get pretty tanky, but she just didn't bring enough to the game last time. She had a few decent ganks, but none of them resulted in kills. None of them really resulted in much pressure. And I think Lee Sin's going to have a much better time, as he's one of the most mobile champions and has a great way to engage and disengage these fights. And here we go. Come on, game. Come on, game. You can do it. There we go. Looks like we are going to see the cool new bad Santa Veigar skin. While not many other skins are as impressive as that, there's a few other good ones. And I definitely think if Ashe is going to be able to land some good arrows and Veigar follow them up, this should be a rather quick game. But if they aren't able to get those kind of initiation stuns out, it's going to be very challenging, as Lee Sin could knock away Xin Zhao if he tries to come in, or Sona throws an ultimate across that front line. And this time, they have a really nice tanky champion, Cho'Gath, who should have a fun time up top, as Olaf and Cho'Gath basically just sit up top and free farm, both of them having good lifesteal and a little bit of harassment. We are going to have Xin Zhao with the flash and smite for jungling. I've seen a lot of Xin Zhaos take Ghost when they jungle, as they really want to just kind of pop the Ghost far away, then run into a fight. But I think this is probably a little better for this game, as they don't have any good initiation CC if the Ashe arrow misses or the Veigar stun misses. And you really want to use those as kind of follow up, use the Veigar stuns to follow up CC, and Ashe arrow is only up every so often. It's not up all the time. And it looks like we are going to see the game starting. As nothing really special about their openings. Looks like we're going to see a bunch of potions and boots up on Ezreal. But a bunch of potions is basically what every single person takes this game, in addition to several crystalline flasks, as they really just want to stay in lane. And killing 2 extra minions for that potion is worth the value of a potion. It looks like the red team might try and invade and wrap around. I think it would actually be a pretty good choice of them to invade this game. They have a good bit of CC. Looks like the blue side is going to go out again, as Lulu's going to throw a ward over the wall. Or will she be caught out? Looks like she does throw the ward over the wall. Binding does go out and actually hits this time. Rupture follows up, but she will be able to jump away, and that's first blood. Lulu just not getting that ward out there soon enough. And that is a very different game this time, as Cho'Gath's going to start off with a kill. And you could easily go back and pick up something like a cloth armor. I think that would be a real recommendation here. They will have time to get back to their lanes wherever they want them. And this prevents any invade by the red side, as without Lulu there, it's really not a fight you want to take, especially with Cho'Gath Rupture and the light binding of Lux. As we saw right there, light binding landed, Cho'Gath landed a Rupture right afterwards, and Lulu just couldn't even get her flash off. She probably needed to flash the light binding, but I don't think she recognized that she needed to flash it that quickly. Looks like we are going to have Lee Sin starting up on the red buff. Though interesting kind of meta shift in these two games is no one's warding the race. Every single EU game I've seen has been both sides really vying for that Wraith ward. But we have not seen it in either one of the games today. And I'm not sure if that's just these teams don't like it, as it is a really handy ward, or they just don't want to risk going in for that fight. Lee Sin will be starting blue. I fully expect him to go up for an early gank on Olaf. This time Cho'Gath has decided to pick up boots and start with that ward. Very wise decision, learning from the first game. That early ward is almost necessary if you want to stay in the lane, and Lee Sin is just going to go for a quick set of double buffs. Looks like Xin Zhao did decide to go smiteless on his leash. But that does mean they will be down slightly, as Ezreal does get to pick up the boat golems and an early level 2. Same thing with Sona. And if they can prevent Ashe from getting a quick level 2, they will be in pretty good shape, as they are doing a lot of harassment. And Ashe is not going to be in good shape, though she does start with a lot of potions, so she should be just fine in the long run, as the Ezreal Sona lane has a lot of poke, but that's a lot of gold spent not on items but on just trying to sustain yourself. Cho'Gath up top's going to have a nice and fun time with this Olaf, as he should just be able to last hit and heal himself back up from any real danger. And I don't think we're going to see any action for a while, though Lee Sin is going to come up top and likely try for a lane gank. Xin Zhao is up top as well, and I think he's going to probably try for a gank as well, as he is in pretty good shape, having just hit level 3, soon to hit level 4. And Lee Sin is going to come up here, and will they actually be able to land the Rupture combo up top is going to be the question. If they can land the Rupture on Olaf, they should be able to kill him. If they don't land the Rupture, it's not going to happen. Especially if they can land the Rupture before he has a chance to pop his Ghost. Looks like in the mid lane, Lux is trading fairly well with Veigar, but Lux is out of mana, while Veigar is still sitting at full, though his health is not in very good shape. Looks like Ezreal still poking down there on the Lulu. She is very low on potions, having to burn off some of the last charges of her crystalline flask. And up top, we don't see any real action happening, as Lee Sin is forced to go back. He is behind Xin Zhao just a little bit, as Xin Zhao is up 5 minions at this point. Olaf up a few minions as well. And Lee Sin does find Xin out in the kind of mid-river, but nothing much happening because of it. Neither team really wanted to fight that out, as the mid laners are right there and can easily burst down one person from either side. Looks like Olaf's just going to continue to farm up top. I don't see any reason for Olaf to have to go back at any time. Olaf does have great sustain in lane and can just harass Cho'Gath down, but it looks like Xin Zhao is going to come up for a lane gank up top. And I do think he's going to be able to get it off, but Lee Sin is going to counter gank it. A rather wise decision, as they got to know that Zen is going to go top at some point this game, as he did do that right about this point in the first game. Looks like Olaf's going to do a good bit of damage to Cho'Gath, getting him fairly low. Cho'Gath overextending slightly. Question is, will Lee Sin actually be able to get in here? Both junglers are level 4, as Xin Zhao just jump in. Cho'Gath lands a 2-person Rupture, Lee Sin with the slow, and Cho'Gath is not able to actually enter this fight. And Xin is going to have to back up, but there is a lot of damage going out. Cho'Gath will be able to finish off Xin Zhao, but Olaf should be able to finish Cho'Gath here, though the Rupture does miss, and that is a 1-for-1 trade. With Cho'Gath getting the better of the exchange, as he did pick up double buffs from that. I do believe they had double buffs still. They could have run out. I couldn't actually check. But it's still a pretty decent win, as it's a 1-for-1 trade, and you're already up slightly. And it looks like bottom lane, we do have Ezreal really punishing this Ashe pick. I'm not sure how well Ashe is going to do until later in the game when she could try and land her ultimate. But unless Ashe really starts farming, that lane is just going to be really far behind, and they're not going to be able to really do anything. Olaf going in there and does finish Cho'Gath out, transferring the double buffs over, as Cho'Gath just stayed a little too long. And that does bring the score back to perfectly even at just over 8,000 gold apiece. And we're going to see back to farming, except mid lane where Xin Zhao does jump in on Xin, as Xin does kick himself away. And picks up the Canyonman with Smite. Nice job by Xin of recognizing I could just kind of jump away. But the problem here is Lux is down pretty hard to Veigar. Veigar up 12 minions at this point, and you can't afford to let Veigar get up there, as he will be able to burst down any person on the team should he get enough farm, and I think he will. Looks like Veigar has opted for the early Sorcerer's Shoes, as you do see Olaf picking up the Giant's Belt, looking to go as tanky as he can. Cho'Gath probably going to go for, I'm going to guess, some kind of Frozen Heart build, because it's a really nice build and there's a lot of physical damage that requires attack speed. Cage comes out off onto Lux, and Lux does take a good bit of damage, though the shield does prevent a lot of it. Xin does throw out the kick, but not in range of Ashe, as Ashe just kind of backs up and is getting zoned out here by Ezreal. Ezreal up almost 20 CS at this point. But the gold's pretty even because mid and top lane are not doing as well. Olaf easily able to zone the Cho'Gath out. Cho'Gath does not have a shot up top anymore. And he's been this top lane has really not gone well after that at first blood. I thought it would be a lot more even, but it just hasn't been. Ezreal throws out his ultimate down bottom, as they are going to push fairly heavily onto the tower and go back. Cho'Gath just using his Pharaoh Scream up here top to actually farm. It's at least a decent chance, and Lux will need this blue buff as she does pick it up. She should be in really good shape at this point. Veigar has picked up the blue buff as well. Looks like Xin Zhao does disconnect, and we will see a pause. I hope he's back pretty soon. Okay, looks like the game is starting back at this point after that fairly deep pause. And there we go. No new actions happening as everything just kind of resumed as normal, but Lux is getting taken down fairly low, though the shield does keep her in decent position. But if she gets much lower, Veigar is likely to just burst her down with his full combo, and his full combo does a fairly ridiculous amount of damage. Looks like we are going to have Xin picking up the red buff and trying to go for a gank, because I do think he needs to pick up a gank here, as his team is falling just a little bit behind. Thanks to the fact the top lane is losing very hard again, and I almost think an Olaf ban would have been well worth it, though Xin is spotted out and will not be able to get this gank off mid lane, as Veigar is just a little too careful. Looks like Ashe does take a bit of harassment and is forced back. She's really far behind this Ezreal at this point, and they really need this Ashe to get up for the sustained damage. If she doesn't start going well, they're just not going to sustain damage. Sona throws out the crescendo, but the immediate cleanse by Ashe means that they're just fine. But that does burn Ashe's cleanse, and cleanse takes slightly longer to cool down than Sona's ultimate. So that is a very small win. Looks like Xin Zhao is going to come down bottom, and will he actually be able to pick up a kill? He is spotted out by the minions pretty early, but Ezreal is able to just jump away, and the arrow goes right through both of them. That was a pretty good arrow, but they saw it in time that they could react, and Xin Zhao got very low. Ezreal's ultimate is nowhere near off cooldown, though he's just going to throw it out a few times for harassment. Looks like Ezreal has gone with the brutalizer. Xin jumping up top onto Olaf, but Olaf doesn't really care. Cho'Gath just has to farm up these minion waves, and Xin desperately needs to get off a gank, because he's really a good ganking jungler. Looks like Ezreal's taking a lot of damage as Sona does jump in there. Will they actually be able to pick off Lulu? No, as Lulu pops her own ultimate. And it looks like Ashe will have a much better time now as Ezreal is fairly low on health and not able to just jump in on him. Sona's also getting low on mana, but they're still zoning him out fairly hard down bottom. Olaf's looking to dive, and I'm not sure he's actually going to be able to, as Cho'Gath's getting just a little too much health back from the minions. But Cho'Gath will have to go back to base at this point, and I'm not sure what he can really pick up at this point to help him stay alive in lane. So Xin Zhao's going to jump again, but an exhaust immediately thrown out by Sona, and Sona does flash away. Arcane shift used by Ezreal, and this might be a dead Sona. As Xin Zhao is going pretty deep for the kill. Will the tower actually take him down? Yes, the tower will take him down with the last shot. And that is not a very good trade if you don't want to trade Xin Zhao for a support. And it looks like Ezreal might try and get onto Lulu, but he's out of mana at this point in time. Though it does free up the lane for Ashe and Lulu for a bit. So it might have been worth it in that respect, as Ashe desperately needs to pick up some farm at this point. Xin jumping in under Veigar, doing a fair bit of damage, but Veigar not returning any, as he decided it was best to just back away. Lux trying to get onto Veigar and really harass him, but I don't think he's going to get the she's going to get the opportunity at any point. And it's basically leaving Veigar to free farm at this point, with Olaf up top free farming as well. But the real winner of this kind of free farm war that most of the lanes are having is Ezreal, is up just over 100 minions at this point. Cho'Gath has opted to go with the Philosopher's Stone just for a bit of regeneration, like you turn that into a Shuri's Reverie later. Olaf going for the early Warmongs. Looks like Xin wants to try something mid lane, and as Veigar's out of mana, this would be the perfect time to do so. Ezreal has picked up a Vampiric Scepter and the Brutalizer. We do see Sona with the Sight Stone, likely going for a Philosopher's Stone up next. Xin going to jump in mid lane, as Cho'Gath does not land the Rupture. Veigar just immediately flashes away. Rather wise decision, because if he was hit with that Rupture, that would have been an easy light binding into dead combo. We do have Sona and Ezreal trying to get in on him, but they aren't going to get the opportunity, as Sona just does a good bit of damage, and there's the ultimate by Ezreal going across. Will that be enough? I don't think so, as the Ashe arrow does fly. Lulu is pretty low, but Lulu is forced to flash away. And no deaths, but a lot of summoners burned, as flashes were burned by Lulu, and the ultimate from Ashe and Lulu were burned. Well, the only summoner really burned on the blue side was none. They burned 2 ultimates, and 2 fairly low cooldown ultimates as well. Xin Zhao is going to go try and pick up that bottom, or defend the bottom tower, but they do take the dragon. And with the blue team taking dragon, that puts them in the lead by 500 gold. Not a whole lot, but they desperately needed that, as their mid and top lanes were just a little bit behind, and it means Ezreal can pick up another big item pretty soon. I think he'll likely go finish off his Bloodthirster, or even just finish off the Black Cleaver, but I think Bloodthirster would be the proper choice here. Turning into a Black Cleaver later would be just fine. We have Xin going for the Riddle's Lantern. Lux going to pick up blue buff here, as Veigar has gone for the early Needlessly Large Rod instead of picking up something like a Chalice, as I think a Chalice would have been a very good choice this game, as it would allow him to basically stay in lane as long as he wants to. He's not been taking a whole lot of damage, as he still has most of the pots from his level 1. We do have Ashe picking up a pickaxe, likely to bring that into Infinity Edge. Lulu doing some decent damage to Ezreal, but Sona will heal that up right away. And with the lane pushing like this, I'd be a little fearful if I was on the red side. They don't have any wards in the river. Lulu's going to have to back up and place a ward in a moment or two. Sona's ultimate is almost off cooldown, with Ezreal's ultimate off cooldown. Ashe and Lulu's ultimates are going to be up, but they are not going to have flash next fight. Though Lulu will have exhaust, which means they can actually turn it around. And Ashe will have cleanse as well. Sona throwing out some good harassment, but taking a little bit as well, though she does have her heal. And with that Philosopher's Stone, she can basically keep healed up all day long. Xin coming down bottom looking for a gank. The river is not warded, so they won't be able to spot him out. Xin Zhao is looking to jump in on Lux, but I don't think he's going to get a good opportunity, as Cho'Gath and Olaf just continue to fight up top. Cho'Gath has opted for a Catalyst, likely going to bring that into a Rod of Ages, into more of an ability power focused build, or just picking up kind of casually to keep himself alive. Though I do think it's an ability power build, as we do see Lux taking a lot of damage mid lane, and the shield prevents her from going in that real danger zone. So taking a lot of damage, and her ultimate is off cooldown. She does have flash as well, Lee Sin might try and go in from behind, though Lee Sin will be spotted by Xin Zhao in that bush, and it will mean that they're going to have to run away, as Lee Sin does knock Ashe right into Sona. Beautiful ultimate goes out there, and as a double kill by Sona. Beautiful kick by Lee Sin right into, kicks Ashe right into Lulu, and they can just press their advantage down bottom and take this tower out. And that's what I wanted to see from this Ezreal Sona lane. Throw out some real nice ultimate combos. That's also what I wanted to see from Lee Sin. That ultimate into a nice double kill from Sona. Beautifully played. And it looks like up top we are still just continuing to trade farm as Cho'Gath does feast on to Olaf. He's almost up to max stacks of feast, so it's perfectly fine to just burn it as harassment tool. Ashe arrow coming down mid lane, and will it actually land? No, it does not land, as Lux dodges it at the last second. Looks like we are going to have Lee Sin coming in mid lane, but I do think he was spotted out. Xin Zhao and Ashe are in the area, but not a lot going on there. As you do see them just backing up, it looks like the red team wants to group up as 5 and push, but they are not going to get the opportunity to, as the bottom lane is going to be in danger if they do so. Sona and Ezreal are going to return to it. Ezreal has picked up a Bloodthirster. Ashe still with just the pickaxe and Vampiric Scepter. We do see Xin Zhao picking up a Chain Vest and Boots of Mobility. Olaf going for just a lot of health this game with the Warmonks and an additional Giant's Belt. Xin Zhao coming in the mid lane. And will he actually be able to get in on this fight? I'm not sure he will. And right now, I think we're just going to see a bit of a stalemate, though Sona's going to try and do something. She does throw a good bit of damage off on Ashe. And that's what we forced for the ultimate win. Looks like Lee Sin does get the kick onto Veigar, but Veigar almost kills Lux. Lee Sin trying to get there. Looks like both of the AD carries will go down, with Lee Sin in much worse shape than Xin Zhao, and Lee Sin will be forced to just run away using that safeguard in a few moments if he can get to a minion. Yes, he does. And that is a 1-for-1 trade in mid lane. Not a bad trade for either side. Both of their junglers desperately needed a kill and some gold, and they picked it up, with Xin Zhao needing it a little bit less because he is farming far better than Lee Sin. Though Lee Sin has been involved in a few more kills. And right now, it looks like Xin Zhao is going to jump in here, but the slow from Lee Sin will be just enough to not let him die. And I thought he would be able to get away, but apparently not. Cho'Gath doing not so much up top, as he's just continuing to farm and be hurt pretty significantly by every single one of those reckless swings. And he's not even throwing out any real harassment onto this Olaf, as Olaf is just a little too strong at this point in time. Looks like Lee Sin is going to go for a Runic Bulwark. I do think that's a great choice here, as that prevents a lot of Veigar's damage. And a good bit of Olaf's as well. Looks like Olaf's going to take a few tower hits, but this Cho'Gath just does not have enough tankiness to actually survive Olaf. And Olaf with the Warmonks will just continually heal up. Looks like Ashe is going to come middle. Her arrow is off cooldown, but the ward will spot her out there. She does throw out her Ashe arrow, and it is cleansed and dodged by Lux. So no, it is not. It's actually still there, but Lux does actually live. I thought that Ashe arrow was going to miss, but apparently not, though Ezreal does take the first tower of the game, getting the bottom tower. Meaning the blue side is up by about 2,000 gold at this point. Almost 2,500. And Ezreal and Sona are in a lot of trouble, as the entire red side is coming down there. And at this point, I think Sona just needs to kind of sacrifice herself. Veigar Cage will come out and hits Ezreal at the last second, but he is able to just jump away, and that's exactly what Sona's doing. Wise decision, sacrifice yourself. Giving up one kill for overextending that much is not terribly bad, though Dragon is up, and that means Dragon could go down and even out this game. And without the Sona ultimate, they're going to be in a bit of trouble, though Ashe arrow is down, Veigar ultimate's down. Lux doing a good bit of harassment here, and here comes Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath landing a nice 2-person rupture, just preventing them from actually going and doing Dragon. Light Biting goes across, but does not hit anyone, as we do see them backing off a Dragon, and good use of just staying back and poking from the blue side. The red team also was kind of wise not to fight there, as they didn't have several of their key ultimates, as the Ashe Arrow and Veigar ultimate are really needed to win these fights. So they are going to go back in there and try and get something to happen. I don't foresee anyone being able to steal it, though Cho'Gath is going to run up there and try and land a Rupture, but no, he does not get in range. Ezreal is here going to throw his ultimate across everyone. Cho'Gath is going to jump in there. Will he actually be able to get a kill? As he is pretty tanky at this point in time, having completed his rod mages. He does feast in on Lulu, and the ultimate from Lux does miss. Sona not wanting to go in as well. And that was just being a little greedy by Cho'Gath, wanting to check it without using a ward. He has completed a Rout of Ages at this point, and now is going to go for something like a Frozen Heart. And a good fight there by the red side, recognizing, hey, we can land a few abilities on Cho'Gath to pick up the kill. And if we back off, show one or two people in the mid lane, they'll think, hey, we ran back to base. But we can just go take the dragon off of it. Xin Zhao has completed up a Sunfire Cape, Deathfire Grasp up onto Veigar, meaning his combo is going to destroy anyone that actually gets hit by it. Aegis of the Legion up on Lee Sin. Looks like Lux has picked up 2 Duran's rings, and I'm not sure what she's going to go for after that. Bot Cleaver and Bloodthirster up on Ezreal. He's way ahead of the pack in terms of farm, just reaching the 200 mark at this point. And we do have Philosopher's Stone and Ruby Sight Stone up on Sona, with addition to the Ionian boots. And it looks like Olaf still has not done anything with that second Giant's Belt after picking up the original Warmonks, and it is going to be a nice group up here by the blue side, realizing that Veigar is low on health and mana and had to go back. And there's another tower going down. Looks like Ashe has completed one of the cloaks, and Ashe will get taken very low by Lux. And if Lux had a little bit more ability power, she would have been able to do it. Ezreal does fly out through the back end, but does not hit anyone. Ezreal going down bottom to pick up that large minion wave. And he should be okay, as there was a nice war in the river. He does have his Arcane Shift to get out of any trouble, and his cleanse will be up pretty soon. Veigar going to grab blue buff and run through down the mid lane. Cho'Gath in a lot of trouble up top, but he does land a Rupture, meaning Olaf is not going to be able to jump in on him. He does see Xin Zhao coming as well, thanks to a ward in the river. And we do see Lux picking up a needlessly large rod. Looks like she's going to go for the Death Cap next. Nice Rupture landed by Cho'Gath, and Lee Sin does manage to jump in there, but Xin Zhao will be here, and they will be forced to jump away, as this Olaf is just way too strong. And if they do play a third game, I think Olaf is going to be banned, as the red side is up 1-0 in this best of 3. And it looks like Lee Sin jumping in there, trying to slow them down from actually doing the tower. And Xin Zhao does get pretty low. Xin Zhao might get taken down here, as Cho'Gath has already burned his feast, but he does land a perfect Rupture, finishing off Cho'Gath. But it's Lee Sin versus Olaf. Olaf is out of mana and not have his ultimate up. Olaf will be forced to run away. But here's Sona flashing with a crescendo at the last second to save Lee Sin. Lee Sin will be able to jump in here for a kill should he want it, but I don't think he's going to, as it's just going to be Sona running around fighting, and Sona should be able to pick up this kill on Olaf. A much needed kill on Olaf, as Lee Sin does steal it from her, as Sona was just not dealing enough damage. But that is a pretty decent trade, trading 2 kills for that tower. Both sides getting what they wanted, and Olaf has completed a Randuin's Omen, meaning he really wants to stay alive from Ezreal this game. He's not worried about the ability power damage coming out from everyone else. Though Sona being up top does mean Ezreal will likely lose his bottom tower, as Ashe has enough damage to actually finish it off. We are going to have Lulu picking up Shirley's Reverie next. And they are just going to go tank up this tower, though Ezreal is going to be here and prevent them from doing so, as he does land a nice hit onto Ashe, forcing her back. Everyone coming down bottom. Ultimate does go out, and Ashe is very low. Will Ezreal throw out the ultimate? No, it's still on cooldown at this point, as Xin Zhao was spotted running down bottom. And Ashe is in a lot of trouble if she does decide to come back in here. Her ultimate is not up, but this is going to be a 5-man push down bottom. And the question is, will they actually be able to do anything with it, as Veigar will take the tower, evening out the towers at 2-2. The gold is almost perfectly even, with the kills being 8-8 as well. Light Binding does come out, but misses. And this is going to be a nice 5-man push. I like the choice to go 5-man here, as they do have a lot of damage, and they could easily burst someone down between Cho'Gath and Lux. So they are going to back up at this point, as they have just basically forced the red team to group up, and they're going to lose a huge minion wave up top. Cho'Gath is going to complete his Frozen Heart pretty soon. You see Lux is about to complete that Death Cap, and Infinity Edge finally picked up on Ashe. Death Cap soon to be up on Veigar. And as soon as Veigar gets that Death Cap, it's going to be really scary, as he should be able to take out anyone, even Cho'Gath, before the fight even starts. Ashe does come out and lands on Cho'Gath under tower. Cho'Gath is in a bit of trouble, but that's the person you want. Lux with some nice damage going through the entire enemy team. Xin Zhao does get ultimated up, and Lee Sin is going to be able to finish off that kill, as Cho'Gath does go down, but Xin Zhao still not dead yet. But now he does get picked up by Lee Sin. So far, 2-for-1 trade, as we do see Olaf getting pretty low. Will Lux be able to finish it off? Ezreal and Cho'Gath have fallen down, but there's the Veigar prison to keep everyone safe. And that is a big win for the red side, even though every single one of the people is at near 0 health. Lux ultimate was burned and will not be able to pick off any one of them on the back end. But that does give them a 300 gold lead thanks to just getting that extra kill in that fight. And right now I do think the blue team is going to group up and do Dragon. It is going to be up very soon. And Dragon would be a nice place to fight that isn't under the tower. If Cho'Gath didn't take 1 or 2 of those tower shots, they would have likely come ahead in that fight. Dragon has just respawned. Blue team has it nicely warded, and they are going to all group up for it. Lee Sin is not in fighting shape at this point. But the ultimates by Sona and Xin Zhao, looks like Olaf, and looks like the entire red team don't have any of their ultimates, while the blue side does have everything but the Sona ultimate and Cho'Gath Beast. With the kick from Lee Sin having just cooled down, looks like they are going to go in there. Lux does throw out her ultimate, Ezreal ultimate as well. And I do think Dragon's just going to be backed up as Veigar does go down into prison, and Lee Sin does take it, bringing this game back to almost even, sitting at 3,600 gold for both teams. And the blue team is going to group up again. They realize, hey, an ultimate might not be up, but they do need to play carefully as Lux ultimate is not up. Nice cage by Veigar, but he does get picked up, and he will be taken down before he gets his combo off. Nice crescendo across, keeps Olaf and Xin Zhao from jumping in. And that's exactly what they needed. They picked off Veigar so he can't burst down someone, and they should be able to push this tower down. That's one of the reasons people are really starting to like Lux at the moment, is her light binding is incredibly powerful, and it really initiates fights well, or stops fights from being started. And they are going to rotate down bottom and just tank up this tower. I think Lee Sin's tanky enough to do it. Ezreal has a real ton of damage. Ezreal going for a casual chain vest and casual Negatron cloak. Not sure what he's going to turn those into, but I do think at this point he just needs to pick up a little bit more damage. Go for that Infinity Edge, as he does have enough to survive, and he should be able to survive these fights just by kind of running around. I don't think Olaf is going to be able to go for him much longer, especially when Lux is there, and Lux is proving to be a massive threat in these team fights. We do see Runic Bulwark completed on Lee Sin. Lux has gotten the Death Cap, and I think a Void Staff would be good here, as it will allow her to penetrate some of that magic resistance that Xin Zhao is going to be building, as he's about to complete the Aegis of the Legion. He's already completed Sunfire Cape and Boots of Mobility. Frozen Heart and Rod of Ages up on a Cho'Gath means he's going to be really tanky character this game. Ezreal has completed the Brutalizer, Bloodthirster, and the casual Chain Vest and Negatron Cloak. We do see Cho'Gath having picked up a Giant's Belt just now. With Sona picking up the Shirley's Reverie, Ruby Sightstone, and I'm not sure what she's going to build with that Ruby Crystal afterwards. Olaf has completed the Randuin's Omen and Warmong's, going pure tank this game, not even worrying about cooldown reduction. Though most Olafs do like to pick up some cooldown reduction, the blue team has decided to defend, as the red team groups up as 5. Ashe has completed her Infinity Edge and Vampiric Scepter, nothing else. Veigar has finally completed his Death Cap and has a ridiculous amount of ability power at this point. He has also completed a Deathfire Grasp, so anyone that does get caught in that combo is going to go down. And it looks like Lulu is going for an Aegis of the Legion as well, having completed the Shirley's Reverie and Ruby Sightstone, unless she just wants a Mercury Treads for some reason, though I don't think Lulu's going to be the target of any real CC, other than the light binding being kind of casually thrown out. Looks like the blue team is grouping up to go try and do Baron, but they are spotted out, and there is a ward in the pit. They are going to rotate around, but the red team doesn't care. They're just going to go group up and push the mid towers down. The blue team does need to back up immediately, and Lux backing up means that they might only lose one tower. I don't think they're going to get off scot-free, as Lux does go back, and this will be a fairly good trade for the red side, as that middle tower is far more important than the outer tower. But they will look to push a little farther. No, they aren't. They're just going to wisely back up. Lux could easily wave clear the next 2 or 3 waves with her ultimate and just natural wave clearing ability. That is a very smart move. The blue team is up to about a 4,000 gold lead at this point, as they are basically up to towers and just farming a little better in that bottom lane, as the other lanes are virtually even in terms of farm. And I'm not sure what either one of these teams really want to do. They both are kind of posturing like they want to group up as 5, but I don't think either side really does want to group up as 5. Both have a large amount of AoE CC and real good team fighting potential. And both teams recognize the fact they both have really good team fights. The only real disadvantage the red team has in a team fight is the only way to really initiate a fight is with an ultimate, and that's the Ashe arrow. Ashe arrow does go out, and it will hit onto Lee Sin. Lee Sin taking a lot of damage, but he will be able to jump away. Lux ultimate does go out and a double kill as she picks up Veigar and Ashe in the back end. And that's exactly what Lux is picked for. Looks like Xin Zhao is going to have a bit of trouble, as Olaf does finish off Lee Sin, and he's going to be working on Ezreal, but Xin Zhao is in a lot of trouble. Lulu very low as well. Slow does go on Xin Zhao as the Rupture does land and finishes him off. Exactly what the blue team wanted. That Lux does a ridiculous amount of damage. You saw how fast Veigar and Ashe burned in the back line. They didn't get a chance to do anything, as Veigar's ultimate is still up, and this is one of the disadvantages of picking Veigar. Veigar just does not have the range that some of the champions like Lux have, and that was beautiful. Lux just burned them to shreds. That was so impressive. And this will mean the first inhibitor of the game goes down, as no, they're going to decide to back up. Probably a good decision. I thought they were with Xin Zhao down, but they're just too low on mana on Sona to actually keep continuing fighting. Lux's ultimate is up if they wanted to scout it out. I'm surprised she didn't use it to do that. But they realized they're in a good position and they need to group up for Baron. If they stayed much longer, the red side could easily just bum rush Baron. Lee Sin going to go up top and clear that wave as Ezreal steals the blue buff away. And we are going to go back to a Baron fight next, as the blue team has taken a pretty nice lead at this point in time. And we are going to see some big items coming out, as the last whisper has been completed by Ezreal, as he's really looking to kill Olaf here. Olaf just is going to jump on him every single time. We do see a Phage picked up by Lee Sin. Cho'Gath going for a Warmong's neck, looking to just tank up. Lee Sin has picked up an Oracle's and looking to clear the area, as they do decide to start Baron. Veigar was seen bottom, though I do think they started a little prematurely. Sona looking to do some zoning here, but the question is, will they get there in time? I think they will. Light Binding does come out and keeps Xin Zhao away, but they will be forced back, as they are just a little too low to actually fight. And if they keep tanking Baron, they're just not going to have the damage, as the red team decided they weren't going to deal with it. They missed that one crucial ward in the bush. If the blue team had gotten that, they would have actually been fairly safe, but they didn't. And right now, the red team is going to go take Dragon. And it looks like Veigar is going to be picking up a Void Staff next, looking to cut through that magic resistance that the Runic Bulwark is providing. Runic Bulwark, a great pickup by Lee Sin this game, as it has saved his hide several times from the burst combo of Veigar, as he has been almost caught out. But Lee Sin getting caught out isn't terribly bad, as he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and he's building kind of for the tanky, sustained fights. Cho'Gath has completed his Warmongs and is going to have a ridiculous sum of health. Looks like Zhonya's Hourglass might be the next choice up on Deluxe, as she's picked up another needlessly large rod. She could also go for a Deathfire Grasp, but I think yeah, I actually think she might go Deathfire Grasp, even though she's not going to be in range to use it on anyone except for maybe Xin Zhao if he jumps in, or if they can actually catch someone from the side. Lee Sin doing the smart thing and just clearing out wards, though it is going to be hard to keep clearing them, as Lulu does have that Ruby Sightstone. She'll be able to lay down many wards. Xin Zhao has picked up a Runic Bulwark, which means the Lux combo won't do as much damage, but it will still do a good bit to anyone that gets hit by it. And we are going to see basically both teams fighting for Baron at this point, Ashe has completed a Phantom Dancer. We do see Hex Drinker up on Olaf so he doesn't get burst down by Lux, even though I don't think they're going to even try to kill Lux. Looks like Lee Sin is going to go clear out the Baron Pit again and possibly start on it, though they are going to try and bait it out. I don't think they're actually going to fall for the bait, as the Hawk Shot does come across and sees where they are. That's another one of the big advantages of picking Ashe, is her Hawk Shot allows her to scout ahead and not run into that trap the blue team was trying to fight or set up. And it looks like Lulu has thrown another ward into the Baron Pit. She has picked up an Oracles herself and should be pretty safe in any of these fights. She doesn't need to get close to anyone. Void Staff completed up onto Veigar, as he's going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage if he can actually get his combo off. The last 2 fights he has not gotten his combo off, and he's just not done the damage he needed. He's just a little short in terms of range. And it looks like the blue team is just going to try and poke things down. They could try and bum rush Baron at this point, but I do think the red side would recognize it, as they do have a ward up Baron still. Lee Sin is not bothered to clear it. Looks like the cage does go up by Veigar, but it does miss, as Lee Sin is able to safeguard right through the cage without getting stunned. And without that cage down for a few seconds, the blue team might actually try and engage. And if they do engage, they have a good shot to. Lux is coming out, and yeah, they're looking to. Veigar's cage is still down. That's one of the big important CDs. Though it has been used to great effect, but they couldn't go on it. As Ezreal does get caught low, binding does go out onto Olaf, but he does actually bug out and miss. Sona coming across, and will she land a good crescendo? Yes, she does land a 3-person crescendo, and they are just going to continue to back up, sacrificing this Lee Sin, as Lee Sin does get on Veigar. Veigar gets low, but not enough, as Ashe is low as well. Ezreal is going to finish her off, and a 1-for-1 trade throughout all of that, as Lulu does flash away. But the thing is, Ezreal's at full health, and Sona can just keep everyone else up. Lux also is going to have her ultimate up in a few seconds again, and this should be the first tower here, and probably an inhibitor, as without Ashe, they just don't have enough damage to kill this Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath has way too much health. And are they going to rotate down? Looks like Veigar does throw it out, and he does get Sona. It looks like Olaf is trying to jump in on Ezreal, but there's just too many slows, as Lux will be hurt pretty hard by Xin Zhao, but Ezreal is in the area, and they are going to back up. But Inhibitor was a very nice take here for the blue side, and I do think we are going to see a Game 3. And this will be probably the first Game 3 of the tournament, as most of them have been 2-0s for one side or the other. Looks like Ashe is going to go for a Last Whisper next. I'm not sure what Ezreal is going to pick up. Probably a Guardian Angel would be good here. Lux could finish off her Deathfire Grasp pretty soon. We do have a Lock of the Iron Solari up onto Sona, just trying to prevent that burst damage from Veigar actually killing anyone. Looks like we do have another Kindle Gem up onto Lulu. Probably going to go for either the Zeke's or another Lock of the Iron Solari next. And not a whole lot of pickups on anyone else, as both teams are really going to have to vie for this Baron pretty soon. If the blue team can push out the lane just a little bit and let those super minions stack up, they should have a fairly safe chance of picking up Baron. Ultimate from Ezreal does go across, hits Veigar for about a third of his health, and he is not going to be in position to fight, as if he gets caught by Lux again, oh boy, is he in trouble. And there we go. It's what I thought he was going to go with. He has gone for the Iceborne Gauntlets, meaning he is going to dominate this game and just be able to kite anyone around. Looks like Sona has opted for the Oracles this time. She was picked off in the last fight, but I don't think she's going to get picked off again, as wasting all that damage on Sona meant they really couldn't kill a high priority target. And Sona was still able to land a 3 or 4 person crescendo. Looks like we are going to see the red team grouping up. Cho'Gath coming in from the side, but he will not be able to land his Rupture. But Lee Sin does come in here and gets on the Xin Zhao. Ultimate from Lux does go out, but it does not hit anyone. And looks like Arrow does go out, and Olaf is going to have a good chance as he does get onto Ezreal. Lock of the Iron Solari Pock. Cho'Gath just fighting Veigar in the back, and no one can actually kill this Cho'Gath. He's just too tanky. Rupture goes across, as we do see more deaths on the red side, but still no one getting low on the blue team. That Cho'Gath took so much damage but he didn't go down. Same thing with Lee Sin, and they are going to push for the end of the game. Veigar down for 50 seconds, Olaf and Xin Zhao down for over 50 as well. And this is just not going the way they thought it would. That Veigar pick becoming a real liability as he's just not able to burst anyone down. His ultimate is still up at the end of every single one of these team fights. And without his ultimate, he just doesn't do the damage he needs to. And this should be a good game. And actually the first game 3 basically of the tournament. Very well played by this Cho'Gath, surviving till late game. Olaf did not do enough this game. He did a whole lot the first game, but the fact that they had Ezreal Lux meant that he just couldn't get in there. Very well played game, one of the best I've seen in a long time, and that Lux pick really snowballed well. She got that beautiful double kill on Ashe Veigar with the Ezreal ultimate, and that really snowballed the game in their favor. Beautifully played. Final kill score was 17-13 with a 9,000 gold lead for the blue side, and we are going to a game number 3. This is actually one of the better series I've seen this entire tournament. We didn't get a good peek at the end game. There we go. Now we're getting a peek at the in-game score screen. As we do get a few moments at that, nothing new picked up, but a very, very well played game. And let's see what Game 3 has in store. I do expect to see an Olaf ban, possibly either Ezreal picked or taken by the opposite team, and that's about the only real changes I see, as none of the other picks were that ban-worthy. Thank you for watching Games Cast by PawnGypsy. For more commented games, please visit my YouTube and stream channels.